Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. I am absolutely pumped to dig into today's material with you because we are looking at a sector of modern healthcare logistics that is massively overlooked, yet incredibly profitable. I'm talking about non-emergency medical transportation, or NEMT. If you're someone who geeks out over efficient business models and healthcare infrastructure, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to break down how this industry actually works, why the hospital discharge niche is an absolute goldmine, and the precise tech stack you need to scale it up. Let's get right to it. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to start with a billion-dollar market, zoom into the discharge niche, tackle the manual trap, break down the 2026 tech stack, and finally, look at navigating liability. Section 1, the billion-dollar market. And guys, this is not just about driving vans around. It is an absolutely critical piece of modern healthcare logistics. To put this into perspective, the NEMT market reached a staggering $10.8 billion in 2024. $10.8 billion, and it's growing fast, projected to hit nearly $20 billion by 2034. Why the explosion? Well, we have an aging population and a massive industry-wide shift toward decentralized, home-based care. The healthcare system has finally woken up to the fact that medical vulnerability shouldn't mean medical isolation. Transportation is quite literally the physical link in the entire care continuum. But here is the stat that completely blew my mind. For every single dollar invested in NEMT, it generates $11 in broader healthcare savings. That's a 1 to 11 ROI. It's like a financial superpower for the healthcare system. By just providing a reliable ride, you're preventing missed chronic care appointments and keeping people out of insanely expensive emergency rooms down the line. It is easily one of the most cost-effective interventions out there, which is exactly why Medicaid and Medicare Advantage fund it so heavily. Moving right along to Section 2, the discharge niche. We're going to explore the DischaRge ConcieRge concept. If you want the fastest path to scaling your fleet, targeting high-demand, specific niches like this is exactly how you do it. Check out this quote from a $5 million a year operator highlighted in our sources. They essentially lock down incredibly lucrative medical city contracts by just being available. They said, "We get hospital discharges from 4 a.m. all the way to 8 p.m. While other transport companies are packing it up at 2 p.m., this operator keeps their vans out there." The rule here is incredibly simple. If you want the high-volume hospital contracts, you have to do the trips that everyone else is ignoring. So the crucial takeaway here is that the DischaRge ConcieRge model relies on supreme availability. As you probably know, hospital discharges are wildly unpredictable. A patient might be ready to go at 10 in the morning, or they might be delayed until 6 at night. By keeping 100% availability for ambulatory, wheelchair, and specialized stretcher transports, operators carve out a massive competitive edge over those standard 9-to-5 companies. Section 3, the manual trap. Because let's be real, scaling to handle that kind of unpredictable, high volume is impossible if you're relying on old-school dispatching instincts. It's just not going to cut it in 2026. If you're running operations manually using whiteboards, text messages, and endless spreadsheets, you're looking at a 15 to 25% claim denial rate. Plus, you're burning 15 to 25 hours a week just manually copying trip data. It's a logistical nightmare. Contrast that chaos with modern NMT software. We're talking clean claims, predictive AI routing, and absolutely zero data re-entry. When you're managing hundreds of trips a day, manual data entry isn't just slow, it's a guaranteed point of failure. To put a hard dollar amount on that failure, a standard 10-vehicle fleet loses between $36,000 and $60,000 every single year in denied claims just from manual errors. That is real money vanishing into thin air just because a dispatcher mistyped a code or lost a piece of paper. The cost of modern software is practically a rounding error compared to the revenue you're bleeding without it. And this brilliantly illustrates the flip side. Upgrading from manual dispatch doesn't just stop the financial bleeding, it actually unlocks massive capacity. Route optimization software uses algorithms to spot multi-loading opportunities and slash deadhead miles. The result? Fleets can complete up to 34% more trips per day. Think about that. That is a massive revenue boost without adding a single new van or hiring a single new driver. Section 4, the 2026 tech stack. Let's look under the hood at the essential minimum viable product, the MVP software you absolutely need to manage a high-volume fleet today. All right, here are your non-negotiables. First up, Broker API integrations. Your system has to automatically pull assignments straight from brokers like Modivcare, no typing required. Second, GPS and EVV infrastructure for digital tracking. Third, automated EDI 837P claim generation. That basically means the second a driver hits complete on their app, the software builds the billing claim. And fourth, predictive AI routing, which manages all the crazy logistics of multi-loading passengers efficiently. So how does that automated billing actually work in practice? It's a very slick 7-step flow. It kicks off with eligibility verification 48 hours out. Then, flawless digital trip documentation out in the field. Next, the software grabs the correct codes and literally scrubs the claim for errors before sending it. It electronically submits, tracks it, posts the payment, and handles any denials. When these 7 steps are seamlessly linked, your clean claim rate is going to absolutely skyrocket. Now, a huge piece of getting those clean claims approved relies on EVV, or electronic visit verification. Basically, we're talking about GPS-verified timestamps with 0.1 mile precision at the exact second of pickup and drop-off. Medicaid programs absolutely require this now to prevent fraud. Honestly, without this level of granular digital precision, you are not going to survive a state audit. It's the only way to prove, without a shadow of a doubt, exactly what services you provided. Section 5. Navigating liability. Because managing your data is one thing, but managing physical, real-world risk is a whole different beast. Transporting highly vulnerable people comes with massive compliance and safety risks. To mitigate risk, you really need to understand where you're exposed. It breaks down into 3 distinct phases of what's called door-through-door liability. Phase 1 is at the patient's home, where you see a lot of slips and falls during walking assistance. Phase 2 is inside the van itself. Think severe secondary injuries from harsh braking if a wheelchair isn't totally secure. And Phase 3 happens at the medical facility, where transferring someone to a gurney carries a really high risk of dropping them. Get this, 40 to 60% of all NEMT insurance claims happen during loading and unloading, right at the curb gap. Most of these injuries aren't happening going 65 miles an hour down the highway. They happen during that crucial final foot of door-through-door transport. Because you're outside the vehicle, you desperately need continuous audio-video recording to cover yourself, but you also need both hands totally free to assist the patient. So to protect your business during that final foot, you need a way to capture the moment. This is exactly where some really innovative gear comes into play, like the brand SanGear and their patent-pending strapless magnetic point-of-view phone pouch, or SMPOBP. It's a completely hassle-free, strapless solution that gives drivers a way to capture rock-solid, point-of-view smartphone video and audio from the door to the curb and back. When you pair that kind of outside-the-van recording with internal dash cams and strict wheelchair securement, you get exonerating evidence that can literally slash your insurance premiums by 15 to 30%. It's a total game changer. Finally, the conclusion. Let's pull all of this together. We've looked at the scale of the opportunity and the hard requirements to actually capture it. I'm going to leave you with this one provocative thought. The NEMT sector is a rapidly exploding multi-billion-dollar market, and that hospital discharge niche, it is wide open for the operators who are willing to adapt. But to win, you have to ditch the manual spreadsheets, embrace AI routing and automated billing, and lock down your liability during that final foot. So ask yourself, are you building a scalable, high-tech logistics company, or are you just driving a van? Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, guys. Keep building smarter systems, and I'll catch you on the next one.